Good afternoon, good evening, gazinta, good y'all, whatever it may be where you are. I'm not Sports Cards. Hope you're doing well. Me and my fat dog Albert's here. I don't even know what he's doing. You don't want to know what Albert's up to right now. You really don't. I wish you should turn on the camera, be X-rated. Um, like, subscribe. Always like to hear what your comments are on. This is going to try to keep this brief. But talk about selling cards you love. Um, I've been collecting cards practically my whole life. I got even I really didn't touch it for 20 years. I would buy a card here or there just to put in a frame or something cool that I liked. Got back into it like everybody else. COVID, blah blah blah. The story, and I got heavy into non-sports cards 4.5, 5 years ago. And I've always bought and sold. Like I've always been an opportunist, is the way I call myself. Never a flipper. I don't even know. Everybody's a little bit of everything. But if I'm looking for a card, and I see something wildly mispriced, I buy it and I'm willing to sell it, make a few bucks, and fund my hobby. In the last month, since the Star Wars market has gone a bit crazy and the non-sports market has gone a bit crazy, I've been presented with the idea of having to sell cards that I think are still can go up, but I think now that they are more closely valued to what I thought they should be versus what they were. But that's just the dollars and the cents of it. And selling cards it's not always about your financial situation, but it's relative to it. It's however you want to treat it. I think it gets to a point where you can have an irresponsible amount of money in cardboard. And even before this market went crazy, I started to feel that way to begin with. I'd accumulated, hundreds of slabs, tens of thousands of cards, thousands of reasonably valuable cards. Just felt like I accumulated too much and I was looking to consolidate and move down. And then the market went a little nuts and I put some cards up for sale. I have one up here. I'll mention a few and I'll mention them more in general than I guess I'm not necessarily always going to talk about the price. This is a PSA 9 Harrison Ford number 58. Uh, the market loves this card. There's two rookies. His number 4 is really his rookie card. Um, but people like the look of this card better. This card had been getting crazy prices. It's like a pop 63, whatever. I love this card. I love this card. But the price was high. And somebody paid the price. And I still think it could go up. And I sold it. It's an old label. I could have got it reholdered. I mean, it really looks like a 9. And it looks great. I looked at the card. But I mentioned a few times, it's in the PSA vault, so nobody should worry. I actually kissed this card goodbye. I'm not like in a weird way, but I was like goodbye because I love this card. But uh, it's hard. Like I'm I don't need the money to eat. I don't need the money to pay my bills. I don't whatever. But uh, you start looking at it and going, do you have enough cardboard that would pay off your mortgage? If you're incredibly wealthy, disposable income, like the amount of money that is disposable to one person is entirely different to another. Um, if $3,000 for a card or whatever it is, or 4,000, people could be like, "Wow, that's like if I won that at the casino, it would change my life." Other people would be like, "That wouldn't move the needle at all. That's the kid's childcare for this month." Right? Everybody lives in a different world, and I think that's important when I talk about this. But for me personally, it simply got to a point, even before this, that I had too much money in cardboard and I want to consolidate. And I knew the issue is, and I say this on here and I've said this to other people, is that nobody wants to buy your crap. Right? Like, I'm sure when I mean crap is like, hey, there are cards that I've accumulated like this one. They're just really hard to come by, and they were expensive before the market went crazy. And I will tell you that I sold a very big Mandalorian rookie card. I sold a big Jin Urso rookie card. I sold an Ahsoka Tano Rosario Dawson big card. Those were all private things, and those are all cards that I don't know if I've. The Mando was weird because I bought two of them. it was the craziest thing in the world. I had a friend who somehow was sneaking and accumulated some great Mando rookies, and he was like, I kind of want to pay for the ones I bought already, so I'm willing to sell you a couple. And I bought two. One was graded very high, and the other is raw. I sold the best graded copy. And I thought I got a fair market value. I think, I mean, it's what's fair market value? You can't buy them. And the Jyn Urso, it's the only one I've ever seen. I bought it on eBay from my idiot friend Peter, who I always call a genius. But I was like, he auctioned this card that he never should have auctioned, and I just bid it because I was like, I'm not even collecting Jyn anymore. I'm just like, but yeah, you can't. So my point being is like the three cards I just named is I couldn't buy back if I wanted to, like not like they're just not for sale. And I've always collected cards like that, and that's there are some cards. I sold a Krennic Gold. I sold some stuff that like it's just not on the market, right? Like if I like I'm always complimentary of Neo Cards of Comics, where he has that theory of they let you buy them back. Not always, right? Not always. And like this card here, this may not fall in the category of I can't buy it back, but it may. There's another category when you sell cards where it's like, hey, I know what I paid for it the first time, I know what I sold it for. But if this card goes up 2 or 3 times, I don't want to say never. It's going to be much harder for me to bring myself to pay that amount of money for a card that I owned much cheaper. Now, I understand in sports and stuff and certain cards that the cards, listen, if it moves, 5%, 10%, or again, and if it's like a lower end card and it moves $50, of course. I've already done that where I bought a card, sold it, and bought it for more money. But like if it gets to be a meaningful amount of money, I just don't see myself doing it. Like, hey, life changes. We're talking about financial situations. Hey, a financial situation is different. I always talk about my life being a Monopoly game of like, the yellow card chance and community chest. It's like you never know in both directions. But yeah, I think it's hard like because cards are not really liquid, especially non-sports cards. And people talk about liquidity. This card's liquid. It just means that if you transact it, you can just sell it. Now, none of this stuff is as liquid as like a stock, and one of the big things that kind of hit me is like we're looking at this card here is that like I can't sell 30% of this card. Do you know what I mean? Like if I own 100 shares of a company, I could be like, you know what? I'm going to lower my position in the company, and I'm going to by 30%. You can't do that with cards. It's either you sell the whole thing or you don't sell the whole thing. Now, you can look at your cards as more of a portfolio. And again, I'm sounding like investment, but I'm talking about cards I love. The meaning is that, like, there are cards that I love, but those are the cards, a handful of those cards. Albert, leave me alone. I'm doing a video here. He's like, don't sell cards you love. Don't sell me. Yeah, buddy, give me 3 more minutes. But those are those are the cards that people want because those are the ones that the reason I love them is because they were really hard to acquire, and if they were easy to get and they weren't valuable, then they wouldn't even make a difference. They would fall into that category of they let you buy them back. But given what I'm trying to accomplish, which is to consolidate and also to be more liquid in all honesty, like as the value of my cards grow, it gets to be a figure that may be uncomfortable relative to like my net worth or something. Like I think I brought things like if your cards can pay off your mortgage, that's a weird thing. And I'm not saying my cards can pay off my mortgage, but I mean we're getting in that ballpark. And I thought about that the other day. I was like, if somebody walked in here and was like, I will give you the figure that will pay off your mortgage. I don't even have a big mortgage. I'd be like, yeah, I might even move the cards I would say I'd never move. Because I think my boys would want the house to be paid off so they could live in it. But man, selling cards you love, it's just like you collect, and there's certain ones and certain things that just stick in your mind in a way, and that you don't want to sell. But I think that for most of us, that number should be really small. It should be. Um, Again, depending on the situation, how anybody can manage. Everybody should manage their stuff the way that they want to. But for me, and I'm trying to speak honestly because I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about this conversation of like, hey, yeah, I just want to like this is too much money in cards, and and I kind of keep going around and around a little bit, but it's like, hey, the cards that people want to sell, the valuable ones that aren't, you know, uh, Albert, gosh, are the ones that I love. And the other part is I also understand why people just sell their whole collection. Because when you sell a card at a time, it's like it tears a little piece of your heart each time. And it's a decision that you make on every little card. Whereas if somebody came in and was like, I will give you X for everything, it's just one decision instead of a million little decisions. So I also understand why people sell all their cards and why actually doing a little bit of what I'm doing, I think is emotionally harder. It might be, I mean, I think financially it's a much better way to go. Um, I'm over halfway to my goal in a month. My goal was to do something over a year. I'm over halfway there in a month, maybe even further. We'll see. And it just sometimes good things happen. I mean, trust me, there's plenty of like I said, bad things. Like Bitcoin crashes, cards go up, stock market down, life is, it's like all these things happen. But selling cards you love is tough. And I think that it's not something people want to talk about because nobody wants to be like, hey, I need the money. As I mentioned, the thing I'm talking about, I don't need to eat, I don't need to pay the bills, but like, man, I just don't want this much of my money tied up in cardboard. And in order to make that change, I've had to sell cards I love, and I'm going to continue to have to sell cards I love, and I don't want to, and I'm not going to sell them. That's the thing is like, I'm not selling them on the cheap. I'm not saying, hey, fire sale, come get my favorite cards at rock bottom prices. It's like, no, the market's paying me fair market value for amazing cards. And I'm like, yeah, you got to do it. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. If anybody's experiencing this, or if I'm just a loser, or maybe I'm just poor, and that's I don't have $1 billion, and that whatever the number is, I'm trying to stay away from actual numbers because I think that, like I said, it applies to everyone, but just differently. Um, uh, where you put the commas and the decimal places. So I'm not sports cards, and I'm out.